Hey everybody, John Ellis with Uphill Media, and this is the first in a series of tips for streaming the revolution. And this one is geared towards people who are using smartphones and are trying to stream events, whether they're indoors, a meeting of some kind, or outdoors, a rally or a protest, and you want to use your phone and stream to somewhere like YouTube or Facebook or Periscope. We're going to talk about the things you need to get for your phone that'll make it better as a live streamer. Phones are limited right out the gate, right? They're not really supposed to be prosumer live streaming tools. One of the first things you can get that is beneficial is a battery backup, because live streaming takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of battery power, and that's one of the primary things. You're not going to get a lot of time out of your phone. If you're at a rally and it's going to be an hour or longer, you're gonna run out of juice. So I would get a battery backup. This is the Anker 2100 milliamp hour portable charger. That's plenty to do at least an hour, if not 2 hours, on a phone. And you get one of those and have your phone fully charged, and you should be good to go. Also, look at replacement batteries for your phone, because you can keep one of those charged, and even though you may have to take it out and plug it back in, turn off your phone and put that battery in, they're often pretty cheap, depending on what your model is. So that's another option. You get beyond, so that's taking care of power. And the next thing would be looking at a directional mic. The phone's microphone is designed to pick up as much as it can, right? And there's actually microphone on both sides of most smartphones these days. And that's great when you're just in a regular situation, but when you're in a crowd or a place that's really noisy, it's terrible. You're going to have a hard time picking up the speaker, if they're not right in front of you. So a directional microphone really makes a big difference. This is the Rode directional microphone. It just attaches right, it plugs right on into your headphone input, right? And it's very directional. Now, keep in mind that if you've got that pointed forward, nobody's going to be able to hear you. So they're going to be able to hear the speaker in front of you, and that's going to be wherever you point it at. It's like a mini shotgun mic. And that's going to help improve the audio quality. If you're in a meeting in a closed room, even though people are probably going to be quiet, this is going to really help pick up that and eliminate a lot of the noise, the ambient noise coming from other places. When you get beyond that, you get into rigs like the iRig Pre. And this is what we used when we did our first broadcast as Bernie 2016 TV at Netroots Nation in Phoenix. And the iRig allows you to connect an XLR input, which that can be anything. You can run that to a mixer, you can run it to a handheld microphone, condenser microphone, lavalier, whatever you've got, because that's a Pro Connect. It's got a battery in it, so it provides a preamp. So if you're using a condenser that needs preamp power, phantom power, it'll do that. It runs on a couple AA batteries. Yes, you're going to need to bring extra batteries because, chews through that juice. It has a headphone out, which is very handy because you can run that to a splitter and run that to 2 sets of headphones. And basically you have an interview gear, right? You find somebody you want to interview, you give them a pair of headphones to put on from the split. You have the microphone in front of you. You got your phone on a stand, and you're good to go. And that was really what we did at Netroots Nation. That was Aniko Nolan was the first person to use the iRig Pre. She actually bought it the night before. It's pretty cool. Solid unit. It works. It's not pro gear, so it's not really durable, but it's very inexpensive. It's 40, 50 bucks for that. There's a Tascam model, the IXZ, that I have not worked with, but it looks to have some bonus features. It's got a multi input port. You can do 1/4 inch, balanced, unbalanced, or XLR. So you might want to check out that. There's numerous models of these kind of things coming out. The iRig Pre was the only thing available 2 years ago, really. Last for phones is stability, and this is a pretty cool rig. This is the Zadio smartphone video rig, and you can attach different mountings to the top. You hold it with both hands like this, stable, and you can it even has a mount so you can screw it right into a tripod or a monopod. But that's pretty convenient, if you can see, allowing you to there, see that close up, right? You can put the camera on there. You got a microphone on there. It'll hold any smartphone, probably a tablet. Right? So that's pretty cool if you're going to get all of that gear. Back to the list. So it's a backup battery, a directional mic. We looked at the iRig Pre, the Tascam IXZ, which has some extra features, but I have not worked with it personally. The smartphone video rig is that gimbal unit we just looked at. The biggest issue with phones is bandwidth. And this is the problem that you're going to run into no matter what you get for the phone. There's really nothing that will help a phone with its bandwidth. You have to go to what's called a bonded unit. And what do I mean by that? So if you're trying to record an event, you're on local Wi-Fi at a union room or library or something, and you've got a solid connection, and there's not a lot of other people using that connection, you should be fine to stream. If you're at a small event outside and you've got a solid connection from your network carrier, you should be fine to stream. If you're trying to stream Bernie Sanders or somebody of his stature, you're not going to have a signal upstream. You will before he gets there, and you will after he goes. But during the time period that he is there, or whoever is speaking that is bringing the massive crowd is there, you will not have enough bandwidth to push a stream that is worth watching or listening to. And that is the big problem that phone streamers run into. It's like everything's working good until everybody else gets out their phones and starts streaming the same thing you are. And the only way to get around that is by getting a bonded upstream unit. And that's the one that I'm talking about is the LiveView Solo. It's what we use. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about it. It's $1,500, right? Then you have to buy USB modems. So it's a one-time fee of $1,500. USB modems are you get through your carrier. You can have modems from different carriers, Verizon, AT&T, whoever it happens to be. And it bonds two of these together. So it's like having two smartphones bonded together, but they're not competing for stream. And they're able to use that combined, that bonded bandwidth to push up a solid, reliable stream in HD. And this unit is very small. Here's ours, right? It's a LiveView Solo. You can attach it to a DSLR camera. You can wear it. It's got a belt clip. Where does belt clip? It takes SDI and HDMI signals, and so you can run it from a DSLR camera. You can run any input into it, really. This is what you would need to stream somebody like Bernie Sanders, and I say this to all the larger organizations out there that can afford a $1,500 investment. Even if you're a bunch of Our Revolution groups or Justice Democrats or whoever you are out there, whatever, National Nurses United, $1,500. The USB modems from a carrier, and then you're paying for data rates. For a 2-hour event, you're looking at maybe $40, $50 of streaming at the most in data cost. So over the long term, this is a much more reliable way to broadcast any rally or protest or whatever event it happens to be. When you know that you're going to have a lot of people there using the same bandwidth, trying to push it up on their phones. This is what you need. It also has an Ethernet connection if you want to if you have access to landline, and it will connect to Wi-Fi sources. So it bonds multiple sources of internet to allow you to upstream, and you can connect basically any kind of camera to it. This doesn't work with a phone, all right? This would work with a handy cam, because most handy cams these days have a HDMI micro or mini out. You can run that in here. This is how Scott Galindez and I broadcast so many events last year and during the primaries. Ours isn't doing anything right now. So if you are a large organization and you're looking to stream more events, I'm talking to Move On and National Nurses United and many other groups that I see trying to stream through phones, and I watch these stuttered, buffered streams, right? That's not doing much good for the revolution. Get in touch with me, info@uphillmedia.org, and I'll help you with this, right? That's the last thing I want to say, is that I'm here to help. So let me show you this. There's the LiveView unit attached to a DSLR camera to give you an idea of size and footprint. Contact me at info@uphillmedia.org. If you've got some of this gear, if you're trying to stream an event, if you want help with any of this stuff, you have questions, that's what I'm here for. The goal is to stream as much content as we can, because we have to compete with an MSM narrative that is not true. And I have been doing this for 2.5 years, and we have learned all the tricks as a volunteer organization, and what works, what doesn't work, and how you can do it without it costing a ton of money, because that's really the key here. So thank you, everybody.